All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, YouTube? We're back on the SHIPIT Nation YouTube station here with the Monday edition of the NBA show, breaking down this 4-game slate here tonight. I got my boy Hamwich with me. Hamwich, how we doing? Bring you in right away. How was your weekend, man? How things going? How's this Monday looking? How's this NBA slate looking for you?
Yeah, happy Monday. I did not have enough Dak yesterday. It was kind of hurtful, but one guy sure did over at SHIPIT Nation. Hats off to Hoop. He's the GOAT for a reason, man. He had that Dak call. But other than that, it was good. It's a Monday. It's about 50 degrees here in Tennessee, so ready to get some NBA shippers. Looking forward to this Monday night game. It's crazy to think we're down to what, Nate? It's like, 6 or 7 Monday night games left on the season. Goes by way too fast. So hopefully we can find some more SHIPIT Nation winners tonight.
Yeah, no, hopefully we can find some SHIPIT Nation winners tonight for sure. If you guys are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton here. We're on the drive for 5 here, right here, 5,000 subscribers. Once we do, we're giving away a $699 yearly membership to a lucky viewer of the YouTube here. So definitely, if you are not subscribed yet, head over there, hit that subscribe button. And over on the pinned videos on our YouTube station, the very first video, you'll see Tambo and you'll see our guy D-Dry. It's the $1 million contest. If you are subscribed, you got to go to that video and drop a comment. And Tambo, our boy, going to the King of the Beach this weekend, is giving away anywhere from $100 to $5,000. He's giving away 10% of his winning, or $30,000, excuse me, 10% of his winnings, whatever he wins this weekend. Hopefully he ships the 300 stacks, and he'll be giving back $30,000, excuse me, to a lucky member or a lucky subscribers right here on this YouTube channel. Again, the very first video, it says SHIPIT Nation member wins $1 million. Go under that video. You have to be subscribed to the channel. Drop it in the comments, a comment on that video. And if Tambo, whatever Tambo wins this weekend, he's giving 10% back to a lucky participant that does the things. There's also a tweet as well on our Twitter page that breaks down that what Tambo's doing. So good luck to him this weekend. But we got 4 games here tonight to talk about. Hamwich. First game on the slate here, I'm going to jump into the Boston New York Knicks. Knicks on a back-to-back here, heading into Boston. Feels like a pretty tough spot here with them on a back-to-back. Boston, obviously a great defensive team here. Boston, 9-point favorites at home. 222 is the total here. Pace down spot for both teams, but I like 2 plays in this game. RJ Barrett gets a nice matchup. He's still in the mid-tier, 6,500, 38, 40, and 38 DraftKings points in his last 3 games, playing over 30 minutes. I expect similar to that right here. And then Jason Tatum, I think this is an explosion spot here for Jason Tatum. Gets to go against an undersized Quentin Grimes and this New York Knicks team here. So I really like I really like Jason Tatum and RJ Barrett in this game. Is where I'm kind of looking off the top. But what do you see in this first game of the night here?
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth, but didn't even mean to. I like Julius Randle tonight. I mean, obviously I like Tatum and Brown, but let me tell you a little bit about why I like Julius Randle. He's playing better basketball. When Kendrick Perkins calls you out and then you all of a sudden become a better basketball player, I really like that. This is the second night of a back-to-back. The last time they played a back-to-back, he went 35 minutes the next night. Last night he played 27 minutes. Played pretty good ball. Got in the 40s last night. I think he can do that again tonight. So my hunch is that he's going to play another 35 plus tonight on the second end of this back-to-back. I really like Julius Randle, 8-1 on DraftKings. So give me some Julius Randle would be my favorite Nick. And then Tatum and Brown, I mean, they speak for themselves. I tend to would go Brown over Tatum, and that's strictly based on price, right? You're looking at 10K as opposed to 7,800. I just think Jaylen Brown, has the ability to match Tatum. I mean, I think Tatum's a better all-around basketball player, but I think Jaylen Brown can match Tatum. So Julius Randle would be my favorite one. Jaylen Brown, 2. Porzingis, I'm off on Porzingis. He can do it. He just hasn't. He's gone in spurts, in my opinion, this season where he's had one good game. I think, Friday night against the Nets, he had, I don't know what, 5 points in the next night. I think he had 20 something. So he's too up and down for me. I mean, it'd be Jaylen Brown, Julius Randle would kind of be the extent of where I'm going tonight. I don't see a lot of value popping for me in this lineup outside of those two. Those aren't great value per se, but those are my two favorite plays.
Yeah, a little bit different. I do like Jaylen Brown as well. He should see a lot of Julius Randle, which is a pretty easy matchup on the offensive end here for Jaylen Brown. So he could definitely keep it going here. He's projected pretty well for us as well. So I really like Tatum and Brown. I would probably separate them. You could play them together here, but I just don't think I would do that here on the slate personally. I would grab one or the other. And then I really like RJ Barrett is my favorite play from the Knicks. I get the Julius Randle take here, but he's going to see a pretty tough matchup here with the likes of Drew Holiday likely and Al Horford combination. And I just think they can slow him down here. And 8-1, I mean, he's going to need to pay off that price tag. He's going to need in the mid-40s likely, and even potentially approaching 50 here. I get it is a smaller slate, so he could get away with it. But I think I'm going to be a little bit under on him. I am seeing decent ownership going to him here. He's projected to be the highest owned player in this game, at least from it stands right now. So much rather play RJ Barrett, and then I really like Jason Tatum, and then Jaylen Brown if you like the salary, if you need the salary savings, I think makes a lot of sense as well. Kind of where I'm looking at that game as well. Let's jump into the other lone 6:30, 7:30 Eastern time game here. Obviously, we got two games locking at 6:30, 7:30 Eastern, depending on your time zone. One game, the Bucks game, locking at the 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern time window, and then one lone game, the late night game, right? Cleveland, Sacramento, which does have some news on the slate, locking at 9 by itself, 2 hours after the Bucks and the Bulls there. So definitely going to have to make some choices here in terms of roster construction. We'll talk through it a little bit. But this Washington-Toronto game here, Toronto at home, 9-point favorites in this one. 229 is the total, second highest total on the slate. Massive pace-up spot here for Washington. But on the Toronto side, Washington doesn't play any defense here. And a lot of these Toronto pieces are getting slammed into optimizers right now. Definitely seems to be the chalk spot of the night here from the Toronto side, big time for sure. And then obviously on the Washington side, you got injuries here in this spot, pushing some ownership up on some of these guys: Jordan Poole, Denny Avdija, Bilal Coulibaly, I think is how you pronounce his name. 3,900, expected to be pretty high owned value play on the slate, projecting to be a decent point per dollar play right now as it sits. Where are you going in this one, Washington, Toronto here?
Yeah, I see our boy Hebrew's in the chat. Hey, what's going on, Hebrew? I looked at his slate plan. It felt like it was the starting lineup for the Toronto Raptors. I feel like all the Raptors are in there tonight. They're popping, like you said, in the optimizers. They're great plays. Washington doesn't play defense. Jordan Poole and co. don't seem to want to play defense. So I think any of those guys, are viable. I would be similar to what Hebrew says. I'd rather pay $1,000 less for Siakam than Scotty Barnes, although Scotty Barnes is a great player, but $9,000 for him is kind of pricey. I kind of like this Coulibaly guy, though, on the other side. He's not showing great value in our optimizer anyway, but 34 minutes last game. Gallinari is not playing. I understand that Gallinari is a little bit bigger forward, and Coulibaly is shooting guard / small forward as well, but I think the minutes are going to be there for him at 3,900. To me, he's just going to be tough to get away from. I don't know if somebody else was missing last game, and that's why he played so much. But he's played 30, 20, and 34 minutes his last three games. Gallinari, who I know is a sub that plays around 15 minutes a night, is out tonight. I like Coulibaly on the other side. Would be my favorite guy for Washington. And I think you could play, Scotty Barnes, Siakam, Schroeder. Any of those guys you could play with, and then just one for the people out there. In Hebrew's right up, he talks about Daniel Gafford being a good play at 5,500 from the center position. Jakob Poeltl does not defend the rim very well, so if you want to get crazy, you could play Gafford at 5,500. But I think I'll be a little less exposed to Gafford than most other centers.
Yeah, there is news in this one. OG Anunoby and Gary Trent, if they both sit, it's going to open up some even more value on this Toronto side against a team that doesn't play defense. They're going to get a lot of minutes here. So if those guys both sit, it's going to open up other plays. Possibly guys like Jalen McDaniels, Otto Porter, Grady Dick, things like that might slide in here, pick up some additional minutes, including obviously the starters, right? Scotty Barnes, Siakam, Dennis Schroeder. Those guys will get more usage as well. And then I see Hebrew in the chat. Gafford got injured last game, and that's where Bilal Coulibaly came into play. So if Gafford I don't see a questionable tag in on him right now. So it does look like he is projected to play. So I would tread with caution there. He could pick up some minutes. We have him projected right around 20 points right now as it sits at 3,900, which is solid, projected right around 5X. So his minutes definitely might be cut there if Gafford is able to go, but could obviously injure whatever for Gafford there. That's where you see the 34 minutes because he did come in for Gafford in that game with the injury. So tread lightly with him, but he is projecting decent. It is a fine value play, I think, still on the slate, but don't expect him to get 34 minutes. He'll probably go back down to his 20 to 22, 23-ish minutes in this game here. But definitely pay attention to the news on OG and Gary Trent, because that's going to open up even more value plays on this Toronto side. These Toronto plays, great plays. Scotty Barnes' ceiling remains crazy, but he is 9K now. His price is finally coming up. He is coming off a down game against Boston, a very good defensive team, obviously 2 nights ago. 26.75 DraftKings points there. Went 4-15 from the field. But the game before that, he was smashing, right? 55, 67.25. And he put up 55 DraftKings points against Dallas. And he went 4 from 15 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3, and still got the job done. He picks up a ton of peripherals here. So it is a good matchup for him here against a team that doesn't play any defense. Not seeing a ton of ownership going to him compared to the guys like Pascal Siakam and OG projecting to be super high owned right now as it sits. So Scotty Barnes is a contrarian piece. His ceiling is unmatched compared to some of these other guys on the slate. So I think he's definitely an interesting play. What's your thoughts on Scotty Barnes at 9K here?
Yeah, I mean, I like Scotty Barnes. I like him as a player. I mean, he's long. He can do a lot of different things. 9K is kind of pricey. That would be my hesitation with him. And you can get Siakam. I think he is a flat 8K on there, so you're saving 1,000 for a former All-Star, right? Compared to Scotty Barnes in any way. So I don't mind either one of those. Then we also got a question from Mitchell about a blowout. I mean, Nate's interested to hear your thoughts, but if you think it's going to be a blowout, they're going to have to blow them out some way, right? That means someone that's starting is going to have a really good game. And then B, if you think they're going to blow them out, then, some of those, Gary Trents of the world or somebody like that, some of those bench guys are going to come in and get the mop-up minutes. You just have to build your team based on what you think is going to happen. You could go about it either way of those, in my opinion.
Yeah. Obviously, a lot of people do expect this a blowout. I personally don't project blowouts a lot in NBA. We've seen this multiple times, especially early in the season, especially through the regular season. Teams are supposed to come in and crush, ended up playing a close game, and guys smash, and people are a little bit under because everyone thought it was going to be a blowout concern. I get it. It is a 9.5-point spread here. Washington doesn't play any defense. Toronto should be able to handle this Washington team pretty easily. But again, at the end of the day, it's NBA. And I typically do not project blowouts, but there is definitely concern here. On the Washington side in general, I'm a little bit under in Washington. These guys' minutes are just kind of all over the place, right? So paying 8,300 for Kuzma really doesn't have any stabilized minutes. I mean, 28 to 32 minutes, I think, is kind of where he's going to fall. He's 8,300. He's got to be pretty efficient, has a pretty tough matchup going up against Siakam and some of these interior defenders here for Toronto. So that's kind of why I'm a little bit under on Washington here, but that brings Bilal Coulibaly back into to play here at 3,900 because I expect him, if this game does blow out, him to get the blowout run as well. Gallinari is also out as well, which does help the cause for him too here. So don't expect 30 plus minutes for him, but if he gets you 23 to 25 minutes, something like that, he could pay off that price point at 4K. And if he gets an extra rotation at the end of the game because of a blowout, could definitely help you save and get there as well.
One last thing I want to add on Coulibaly is, I mean, this kid had 4 steals, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 20 points last game. I understand he was playing, minutes for somebody that got hurt, but if you're one of the worst teams in the NBA, you're 2-7, you're headed for the cellar. Like, why not give this kid who did that last game, give him 27, 28 minutes? I think it's I would almost bank on me personally that he's going to get 28 plus minutes with potential for more, just based on what he did last game, based on them being terrible and based on Jordan Poole being Jordan Poole. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, they are on a back end of a back-to-back as well here. Washington is. So there's even more minute concern there. Give some of these young kids a run like him, but he did play 34 minutes last night as well. So there is definitely concern for sure on Washington here. Back end of a back-to-back, tired legs, things like that. Still early in the year. So definitely tread with caution, but Toronto definitely seems to be the chalk of the slate. Optimizer slamming 3 or 4 guys. So, hey, maybe you flip the build a little bit, go maybe two Toronto guys and maybe a Washington run back, right? Because people are a little hesitant to go to the Washington side with the minutes concern, and maybe this game plays close and you get there a little back and forth when people are projecting a blowout here. So definitely a game that is definitely going to be needed, and I feel like a lot of plays are going to come from, especially on the Toronto side. So did want to mention that.
Hey, Nate, I'm far removed for being 19 years old, man. But when I was 19, there was no such thing as tired legs. This Koulibaly kid is 19, maybe 20. He ain't getting tired, man. He can play game after game at that age. So no worries about him being with tired legs. I know he's a superstar now, but he's only 19 years old, man.
Yeah, no, exactly. So could see him run back out there instead of guys like Poole and Kuzma, some of those guys. So definitely a good spot to target there, especially on the Toronto side. Jumping into the next game here, it is the highest total on the slate, 230. Bucks are 9-point favorites at home. Projected team points for the Bucks is 120. A little bit of a pace-up spot here for the Bucks. And I know you and I both like little Giannis action here tonight. Dame is questionable in this game. Patrick Williams is questionable on the Chicago side here. Obviously, if Dame sits, I feel like Giannis is going to become the chalk of the slate. He's projected pretty low ownership right now, though, at 11-1. Because guys want to go to Siakam, guys want to kind of go back to that mid-tier-ish build on this. So paying up for a guy like Giannis that could absolutely nuke the slate here. He's coming off the back-to-back 71 and a 68.5, played 36 minutes, 37 minutes, and now gets a matchup here at home against the Bulls. Is it a Giannis night for you, Hamwich? Where are you going in this one?
Man, early on in the season, for anybody that's listened to me on a Friday or Monday, I haven't been a real Greek freak guy, but man, the last 2 nights he's turned back into the Greek freak, and at this price, I think you can pay that, right? I mean, he had 71 the other night, 68 the last game out, so he's doing Giannis type things. So I definitely think he's in play tonight. I really like Damian Lillard over on FanDuel. For anybody that's playing over on FanDuel, he's got a great price over there. If he plays, obviously you'll want to monitor if Damian Lillard plays, but if he does, I think you need to look at him over on FanDuel. But Giannis has been absolutely good, great the last 2 games. And then my favorite Bull would be Zach LaVine. I mean, you can't say enough good things about him, playing 30 plus minutes every night. This is their 3rd back-to-back this season. He's played in every one of those. On the second night of those back-to-backs, for the first 2, he's played 35 plus minutes. So no concerns there. He's going to get his shots up. He's going to get his. So really like Zach LaVine coming back for the Bulls. And then, I mean, obviously, if Lillard does sit, which I don't think he is, but if he does, you can look at, campaign if he's going to get those minutes. I saw that Hebrew wrote up Marshawn Beauchamp. I'm not a big fan of his, but for $3,300, if he's going to get extended run, he doesn't have to do much. That's kind of the extent of where I am in this game.
Yeah, well, Beauchamp is because of Jay Crowder, and he is 3,300, so he's been getting more minutes with the Jay Crowder injury there. Jay Crowder is out in this game. Dame Lillard is probably expected to sit here, so if he does come back, that is going to eat into Giannis's ownership here, or not ownership, usage, excuse me. Obviously, Dame time in Milwaukee here, but there is again, concerns there with that calf could flare up again, something like that mid-game. But if Dame is back, I definitely have a little bit of hesitation excuse me, on the Giannis price point at 11-1, just because he does take enough usage away from Giannis, right? When you look at Giannis's 2 two ceiling games, it's without Dame in there, right? The 68 and the 70 piece. Before that, I mean, 39, 41, 25, 46. He did have a 62 in there but that's against a Brooklyn team there. On the Bulls side, I would definitely max one of Levine, Vucevic, and DeRozan. Like I said, I bring this up every time with the Bulls. When all three of those guys are healthy, it's just tough for them, multiple of those guys, to get there. Zach LaVine is projected to be the best one right now in terms of projection-wise, but ownership's also going to follow there. So I would probably have a little preference of going to DeRozan or Vucevic. Definitely would max one of those. Torrey Craig and Ayo Dosunmu do seem to be two value plays that people are going to in this game here. Don't love the spot, to be honest with you, here, but you could see them, especially if the game does get out of hand. Torrey Craig, Ayo running out there, running the kind of blowout concerns. Ayo played 27 minutes last game, last night against Detroit. Went 6 of 7 from the field, so shot very, very efficient, and needed to do that just to get to 25 DraftKings points there. So definitely tread lightly on those two guys, but those are two values that people are playing on the slate from the looks of it right now. I don't personally have a ton of interest on those guys. Bobby Portis seems to be popping a little bit here in projections. It's just he lacks the ceiling for me. So I'm more would look at him more as a cash play. It's just in tournaments. I mean, he hasn't cracked 30 DraftKings points since back in October against Miami. And he does need to get there. I mean, 6X for him is over 30 DraftKings points, and he hasn't cracked that. Hasn't played over 30 minutes either. 26 to 28 minutes is kind of where he's fallen in between. So Bobby Portis, definitely kind of out on Bobby. It's pretty much Giannis in this game for me, or pass. Is kind of how I'm looking at this. And then if you need a value play, Marshawn Beauchamp, I think makes some sense. A shooter there. It's his price for me, 3,300.
You forgot to mention the most important thing about Bobby Portis, and that he's a terrible NBA basketball player. So do not play Bobby Portis. I think he is horrendous, and he'll probably go up for 45 tonight. But, man, Bobby Portis is so bad. I can't stand watching him play the game of basketball.
Yeah. Another guy, too. Forgot to mention Malik Beasley has looked pretty solid with Jay Crowder being out. Again, he's just mainly a shooter, though. So if he's not hitting his shots, it's going to be hard for him to pay off that price point. But his minutes definitely have trended up with the Jay Crowder injury. He's likely going to start again here. But you need his shots to fall to get there, because he's not picking up peripherals. He's not getting assists. He's not going to pick up many steals or blocks or anything like that. He's just purely a shooter. So at 4,500, kind of another value play that I'm a little bit under on, that I do think people are going to go to with the Jay Crowder and being a short slate here. So overall, it's kind of Giannis or pass for me, and then max one of the Levine, DeRozan, and Vucevic for me in this game.
What about my boy Kobe White? Someone in the chat wants to know.
Kobe White, man, this guy, he's got a great matchup here, right? Point guards against the Bucks. He's picked it up here. He's burned me earlier in this year. I think he's fine at this price point, 5,400. I mean, 3 straight games over 35 or 30 DraftKings points. He's going to play anywhere from 29 to probably 33-ish minutes, somewhere in that range. If he gets an extra rotation in there, gets up into the 37, 38-minute mark, he could definitely do it. It is a fantastic matchup. So Kobe White, I do think, is interesting, and might be my favorite Bull, to be honest, now that you bring that up. And I look into it further here, just with this price, the matchup, everything, because point guards have killed this Bucks team. Anytime anyone's facing Damian Lillard on this side, he doesn't play any defense. So does give a boost there for Kobe. I think more people are going to go to guys like Ayo Dosunmu or Torrey Craig on the Bulls if they're not going to one of Levine, DeRozan, or Vucevic. So Kobe White does make some sense here, and I do have some interest in him as well.
Yeah, his projection seems low. It's like at 24, and he's gotten 24 plus the last 5 nights and 3 times in the 30s, like you alluded to. It's a great call out, Michael. I'll have to look at Kobe. I wasn't looking at him beforehand.
Yeah, exactly. Last game of the night here. It's the 226 is the total here. 1 point spread, close game expected to be here. Late night hammer. A little bit of a pace up spot for both teams in this one. De'Aaron Fox is the big questionable tag. Obviously, we're not going to have this news before the other 3 games lock. So you could get you could kind of luck box into falling on the stone nuts here if you do wait for that news, if we don't get any clarity on that one, because he is firmly questionable right now as it stands. Obviously, if he sits, it's going to make big different thing, but he is doubtful with that ankle. So guys, other value, it's going to bring a lot of value, right? Keon Ellis is one of basically the main value play that's going to pop in projections here at 3,900. I expect him to be super chalky on this slate, probably 50+% owned because Fox with that doubtful tag there. So hit on him. But where are you looking in this game? Obviously, the King side is where a lot of people are going to go in this game with Fox being doubtful.
Yeah, I actually think I could be wrong, and I think Fox is going to play or could play. I think doubtful. I think he's been upgraded. Someone in the chat let us know. But yeah, Evan's saying that he was at shoot around today. I'm assuming he's talking about De'Aaron Fox. So I actually think Fox is coming back. But if I'm wrong, chat, please let me know. But that's what the last thing that I saw. I think this game, man, I watched that Warriors and Cavs game Saturday night, and it's hard to believe that this Cavs team is right around 500. I understand Jared Allen was gone and Garland missed, but this team is pretty good. They got a lot of pieces offensively and defensively that can get the job done. I really like these Cavs tonight. Evan Mobley's just a man-child down there. He does a lot of different things good. So Evan Mobley would be my favorite. Number 2 for me would be Donovan Mitchell. I'm sorry. I mean, he's playing 35+ minutes. He's going to shoot it 20+ times. The ball's going to be in his hand at the end of the game. So I really like him. I think Sabonis at 10-1, he goes down for me if Fox comes back, because Fox is that alpha and he's going to take over whatever Mr. Fourth Quarter, whatever that little award is he won last year. But in the fourth quarter, it's going to be Fox time. So give me Fox coming back, assuming he's playing. If not, I do like Sabonis. But Mobley for me, or Mobley, Donovan Mitchell would be my favorite 2 Cavs. And then I don't mind playing Fox. I obviously want to see if he's on a minutes restriction. So I'd want to check that out. Kevin Huerter had a really good night Friday night, but man, I would pay to see that again. Looks like Friday night he had 51 DraftKings points against OKC, but it's going to be Fox, it's going to be Mitchell, and it's going to be Mobley for me tonight out of this game.
Yeah, no, with I see our guy Hebrew in the chat said he participated in 5-on-5 scrimmages. So everything points to him coming back here tonight. Obviously still has that questionable tag there. But right now, I mean, the spread indicates a 1-point spread. So that is interesting with only a 1-point spread here against Cleveland. Alice, Monk, and Herter, probably both, all three of them become firmly, and Keegan Murray, I mean, virtually become unplayable for me if Fox does come back here, especially at their price points. I mean, Malik Monk up to $6K, Kevin Huerter up to $5,900 here, Keegan Murray $6,400. So those prices, if Fox does return, are very, very steep. But again, this game is projected to be the closest game of the night, right? Just a 1-point spread, late night hammer here, and have to expect. At least a lot of ownership right now is projecting to come to those guys. Obviously, that's going to change once if Fox does get ruled in here. But you have to like this game from a DFS perspective. 1-point spread, late night hammer here, expected to be close. Evan Mobley's kind of my favorite play in this game from the looks of it right now. This guy's just a complete stud here. Hasn't shown the ceiling the last couple games here, but he has shown the ceiling on the year, right? 60. Almost 50 there against he smashed Indiana both times here. Is a little bit of a tougher matchup here against Sabonis and the Kings, but he's got a decent price point at 7,400 here. So definitely got to like this spot. Donovan Mitchell is interesting to note. He's at his lowest price point, I believe, on DraftKings of the season, and has GPP winning upside each and every time he's on the slate, and does get a good matchup here against the Kings. So Donovan Mitchell at pretty decent low ownership on this slate as a stud at 9,300 with his upside. Definitely, I think, is an interesting play as late night hammer as well due to the matchup here. And then obviously Mobley, Garland, and Kevin Huerter draw decent matchups as well. But tread lightly with the Kevin Huerter play at that price point with Fox likely to come back from all things, right? Participating in a shoot around. did the scrimmages on Sunday to Hebrew, posting that in the chat. So any final thoughts on this game here? Because it is an attractive game from a DFS perspective, right? Just a 1-point spread, closest spread on the entire slate. There is definitely blowout concerns with the back-to-backs and things like that of the other 3 games on the slate.
Yeah, I put this up here for Michael. I just want to touch on this. I mean, I don't know what I haven't seen any way if Fox is going to be on a minutes restriction. I mean, if he's on any sort of minutes restriction or even that's reported, I definitely would go Donovan Mitchell over Fox. But I mean, to me, it's pretty much a toss-up, just kind of depending on how your build is if Fox is not on a minutes restriction. But yeah, I think this could be a good game. Some really good pieces, right? So, I mean, Donovan Mitchell is going to be super low owned, 9,300. A good price on DK compared to 10K on FanDuel. So more of a DK play for me in that regard. So give me some Donovan Mitchell as that late night hammer, assuming you can fit him in.
Yeah, I do want to bring up the Mobley versus Jared Allen take. I would do another max 1 situation of them right now. Jared Allen projecting to be pretty high owned, especially at the discount off, right? He's just 5,700 compared to Evan Mobley at 7,400. Their projections are okay. I like Mobley a little bit more at the discount, and I just think he's got a higher ceiling than a guy like Jared Allen. But both of those guys do have solid matchups on this slate, so did want to bring that up. Kind of a max 1 situation for me personally there. And Donovan Mitchell, I think, is one of my favorite GPP plays on the slate. Just at his ownership, the lowest price point of the year in a game where he's going to be needed. I think in this spot to produce late night hammer here, close spread. So I really like Donovan Mitchell as a late night hammer here. And then hitting on that point, right? You do have to leave $900 if you are playing Fox, right, to get up to Donovan Mitchell. So it is kind of restricting if you do that into your builds. I haven't played around with too many builds yet to see if that swap is available or to build that in. I would probably have a 2v2 ready with the Fox thing. The Fox News, but again, we're not going to get that before the other 3 games lock. So it's definitely an interesting piece, and that's one of the most important things on the slate right now is that Fox News, because if he plays, a lot of those secondary pieces become unplayable personally for me, and I do think people are still going to play them because right now they're projected, all of them, to have a lot of ownership with the injury tag still on Fox. Any final thoughts on the slate, Hamwich, before we get on out of here? You're on mute, Donkey.
I just want to shout out my boy to Mike. That's awesome to hear. His sportsbook just 103.55. So the good job. Congratulations on that. Nice.
Well, that's going to do it here for this slate. Again, injury on the Fox is pretty big. We're expecting him to play. He did go through shoot around, participated in 5-on-5 scrimmages. Kind of takes every one of those ancillary secondary pieces for me from the King side out of play. The other 3 games, definitely blowout concerns. But again, 4-game slate with 3 games very similar outside of this game, right? Big spreads, blowout contention in any of them. If you have a read on one of those games staying close, stack it up because you're going to be different than the field. Toronto definitely seems to be the decision point on the slate as far as it seems in terms of right now value, just because Washington doesn't play any defense here. But that's going to do it. If you guys haven't, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll have all of our content up at SHIPIT Nation. If you guys are not a member, head over to shipitnation.com. We have 6-month, year packages and monthly packages available. And for NFL Showdown, all of our content will be up shortly as well. Some of it's already up on the website. Our guys Hoop, Tambo, and Tito broke down that show over on the Mayo Media Network. If you haven't checked that out, head over there, check that out. You can watch it in about 40 minutes if you throw it on 2X there. They went through everything, captains, flex plays, things like that to do that. But we're going to get on out of here. Good luck tonight in your contest. Hope to see those SHIPIT Nation logos at the top. For Hamwich, I'm Nadesify. We'll catch you guys next time. Let's ship it.